Hello, welcome to this mini masterclass in writing. I'm Helen Womack, a British journalist and writer. In this episode, we're going to think about how we tell stories. We've listened to stories since we were children, once upon a time, right? Well, yes. We can start with a time when I was on the border between Ukraine and Slovakia looking for a story. My task was to find some refugees who would be willing to spend the day with me and agree to be filmed. Crowds of refugees were coming through, but most of them had kids and luggage and pets, and they didn't have time to stop and talk. But the story really started when in that crowd I spotted two women wearing brightly coloured anoraks. One of them was in shocking pink and the other in lime green, the colours of fluorescent marker pens. Now I want you to hold that image in your mind because we will come back to those coloured coats later on. The women turned out to be two sisters from eastern Ukraine. Both of them were widows and they had just reached pension age. Unfortunately, their flats had been bombed, so they'd had to flee. They had spent their first pensions on rucksacks for the long journey across Ukraine to Europe. The journey was tiring. It took them several days by bus and train to reach the border, which they crossed on foot. When they arrived, they were exhausted and they didn't know where they were going next. "Where will we sleep tonight?" one of them asked anxiously. But they agreed to spend the day with me, and I said I would try to help them. We went to a tent where kind Slovak volunteers were giving out tea and little sandwiches. "The tea's nice and hot," said one of the ladies, "but we have better sandwiches in our rucksacks." So they shared these sandwiches, made with salami and thick Ukrainian bread. It was their last picnic from home, and it was delicious. The ladies had a dilemma. They could get accommodation if they agreed to register with the Slovak authorities. But this meant making a choice. "Perhaps it would be better if we moved on to the Czech Republic," said one of them. "I had a lovely holiday in Prague once." "Yes, but we will face the same problems there that we have here," said the other. "True," said the first one. And then suddenly it hit them that they didn't have the strength to go on. "Let's just stay here," they both agreed. And so, after they'd made their decision and registered with the authorities, they were given beds in a hostel and the chance to rest before they made further plans. It was getting dark, and I would soon be leaving them. But I had one last question. "Remember those vibrant coats?" I wanted to know where they had bought them. And they told me a very moving thing. Back in Ukraine, they had been wearing black, the colour of funerals. But when they reached Uzhhorod, the last Ukrainian city before the Slovak border, they went into a second-hand shop and saw the pink and green jackets. They bought them straight away. "We wanted to start our new lives in bright colours," they said. I was delighted because this gave me the perfect ending to my story. It took me back to the moment when I first spotted the women in the crowd, and it brought the story full circle. This is the secret of good storytelling. In the beginning is the end, and the end takes you back to the place where you began. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful tips and tricks. Until next time, stay confident, stay authentic, and keep delivering your message with precision. Goodbye.